let's see how this looks, guys. After I test this and make sure it's good, I'll probably have to sign out. Um, gonna do what I do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Wait, what was this? Oh, no. That's not what I'm looking for at all. I'm looking for pages. This is my first time doing this setup, so there's that. No, my shop is not in Japan. My shop is in Hyattsville, Maryland. I do travel to Japan twice a year to tattoo though. So just waiting to get there. Yo, what's going on, favorite? How are you? So yeah, so I'm just kind of waiting to get there. Um, so yeah, on any of my sites, or if you go to my website, it'll tell you exactly where I am. Um, but yeah, I'm in Hyattsville, Maryland. Uh, Shoot, just message me, favorite, and we can definitely do lunch or something, and catch up. Welcome back. And I hope you're well. I can't wait to see you. So yeah. But guess I'm gonna have to get off of here soon so that I can prepare. Thank you so much. Thank you. Same today. Um, Favorite, I am in the arts district, but I'm also about to deliver a talk, so I couldn't have you come by right now because it's going to be heavy concentration. But I'm not too far from you. I'm literally down the street from where you are right now. So yeah. Oh shit. Let me see how my kid's doing. I forgot to feed this little motherfucker. Oh no 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 no! I fed you. You fed. You fed. You good? You gonna make it through this talk? It's gonna make it through this talk. It's ready. It's ready. So yeah. Thanks, babe. Love you. This is so interesting, guys. Let's see. Oh shit! I forgot to take it off. I'm showing y'all all my business. No, I don't mind this stuff. This is the stuff I actually like. Um, I enjoy learning tech for business. Um, and all that good stuff. because then I could do stuff on my own. But also, it's 7:55 or 5:55, so I'm going to have to leave you guys because in 5 minutes I deliver a talk. Ah. So I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hello. Hello. Why can't you connect the chat? Hello. Why can't you connect the chat? All right, guys, how are you? Welcome, welcome to my big tattoo talk. Just so you guys know, my name is Imani K Brown. I am a tattoo artist illustrator, and if you give me a second, I will properly introduce myself. Just so you guys know, full transparency, this is my first time doing a live stream anywhere other than Instagram, IGTV, live, and all that good stuff. It is also my first time um, sharing this particular talk. So please bear with me. I'm learning a lot of new things for this particular for this jam. So there's that. Um, so yeah, give me 1 second here. Let's see if I can get this keynote and such up. Sorry for toggling as well. Again, learning new things. So, with learning new things, that also means that I am on a slight learning curve, just a slight one. But once we get going, it'll be fine. It'll be cool. Right? Right. So, things that I meant to do, or, I wanted to do was to do a full pretty presentation and such, but a full pretty presentation may not be the jam right now. Again, learning a lot of new things at one time, and I just want to be able to give you guys my best. So trying to add on a bunch of things to give my best might not be the best thing to go to actually do it. So if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to talk. We're just going to have a talk. We're going to get to know each other, and hopefully at some point I can figure out how to answer questions so that we can design together. If we can't design together right now, then we will have an Instagram live makeup so that we can design together. But until that happens, let's talk about tattoos. First of all, how are you today? I hope you're well. Let's start there. There's a thing that I like to do when I walk into my studio where I check in on myself. And with checking in on myself, I am making sure I'm okay for a number of reasons. One, for my own self care and for my own optimal performance. But also, I want to make sure I'm okay for my clients and to make sure that whatever they're actually going through, if they're going through anything, or they could be okay themselves, and I just need to match their energy so that it doesn't bring anything down and we have a great session. I always check in on myself. So let's take a moment and we're going to check in on ourselves now. Now, when I check in on myself, I ask myself a few questions. Um, and the exercise is called About Me, or Me Today. So, excuse me. First, I check in on how am I feeling? What am I working on? What am I eating or drinking and drinking? What am I listening to? What am I wanting and what am I loving? Those are the things that I take a moment and I just stop and I ask myself, me today. Like, how are these things going for me today? Um, and I'm going to take a moment and just let you sit with that so you can ask yourself before we actually start creating, how are you doing today? Um, it's very important questions. Uh, all right, so you should have definitely uh, found out or talked with yourself to ask how you're doing today. Again, these things are very, very important because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you are good with yourself. I think those things are really, really important. Like I said, I normally end up checking in on myself just to make sure I'm good for the day. So there's that. Uh, so again, my message is, or not again, you weren't on my Instagram live earlier today. Um, but if you have never seen my Instagram lives or you don't know what my message is that tattoo is actually more than a tattoo. In tattoo being more than a tattoo, um, I'm going to go ahead and give you the how to for having an empowering tattoo experience without having to scratch your idea, without having to break the bank or anything like that. Like, how do you actually have an empowering tattoo experience? My goal in this talk is to help others understand how tattoo helps you make peace with your inner self. Peace with your inner self, which I think is very important. And a lot of times people don't realize that tattoo is something that can help you with those things when it comes to reconnecting with yourself. Um, it's a very personal thing to get tattooed. It's a very personal journey. So at the end of the day, you can definitely um, hang out and make peace with yourself over tattoo. As much as people don't think that that's a thing, it is. So what tattoo is for me and what tattoo is for a lot of my clients is tattoo is an alternate form of improving body image and self-esteem. So all the things about empowerment, all of the things about being able to have that courage, not having imposter syndrome, being able to channel certain things that are in you that you actually need to bring out of you. Those things are what tattoo is. So in that, tattoo helps systematically desensitize you to body exposure through imagination. Uh, Identify and adjust errors. I'm from DC, y'all. So identify and adjust errors in judgment from negative body image thoughts. Um, and identify challenge yourself in defeating in self defeating and avoidant behaviors and thoughts. So what does all that mean? It means that in terms of desensitizing yourself to body exposure through imagination, you start to reimagine your outer appearance. You start to reimagine what you will look like. What are those things that you feel innately that you can actually engrave within your skin, and you start to decorate your house, which is that's probably the best analogy that I've come up with so far that I've been able to give, which is you literally decorate your house. If you think about your skin as the walls, as bare walls in your house, to be able to decorate them, to be able to say, okay, I'm going to put this here, this makes me feel good here, I'm going to place this in the kitchen because that makes me think about cooking, or will trigger something for eating and food and family, all of these things. This is what happens when you start to uh, desensitize yourself to body exposure. Eventually, all of those creative things that you put on your body, you start to love those more than the exposure that that you give of your body, and that starts to help you reconnect and redefine what positive body image is for you. Number two, identify and adjust errors in judgment of negative body image thoughts. Ooh. You ever look at yourself and you're like, I don't like this part of my body? Again, decorating your walls with the things that you actually enjoy, that are innately in you, and that help you be the best person that you can be, to put those things on you. Again, when you see yourself, tattoo sometimes with placement has a great way of contouring you, so that those things that you nitpicky about were our own worst enemy. This is something that literally me and a friend, joking with a friend online, I was, they were just like, yeah, I'm my own worst enemy. And I was like, dog, how could you be roasting yourself? And I know what it is, and I know I can joke about it because I do the same thing. I'm guilty of it, so there's no judgment there. But in that, to be able to actually start to contour things for yourself, and contour your body in the way that you see it, to frame your body with body art, that is pretty much being able to identify and adjust those errors. Identifying and challenging identify and challenge self-defeating avoidant behaviors. So look, to get tattooed, you kind of have to get naked a little bit. You have to show that piece of skin that you don't really want other people seeing, including your tattoo artist sometimes. And you can't avoid it. Like, this is literally in your face. Now that you've decided to get tattooed, you put the things that you don't like about yourself in your face, not only in your face, but in your tattoo artist's face. Whether we know it or not, you're putting those things in our face and you're sharing those things with us. So you are now starting to actually face, and identify and challenge those things that you don't like about your body. People come in all the time like, I have like some spots here from a scar and I would like to cover that up. And some people are really, really shy about that spot there from a scar type of deal. And some people are like, look, it's a spot and there was a scar and I need to cover it up. And those things are really, really important. So there's that. So those are the three things that tattoo actually helps. CeeLo Green has a song, Big Old Words, and in Big Old Words, he says, what I believe within, I engrave it in my skin. If you've been on my social media, especially my tattoo page or anything like that, this is what I lead with, because at the end of the day, no matter what's in you, whether it's Afro, whether it's Kawaii, Japanese, any of those things, all of those things actually are in you. And if those things are in you, those are the things that you believe within. And then, of course, if you want to start identifying yourself, if you want to start communicating with people, if you want to start going down your own journey, your own path and journey for healing. Those three things, those three things are the things, or the things that are within you. Those are the things that you will mark on your body so that you can actually communicate, heal, or identify yourself. So I love that quote, by the way. It's one of my favorites. So I'm going to break it down for you because this is coming from me, a dysmorphic and self harming person. I do have BID, body image dysmorphia. I am a self harmer, so I do have mental illness of sorts. There are times when I'm not balanced. I am bipolar as. So getting tattooed and learning, not just learning the craft of tattoo. We'll talk about how I got into becoming a tattoo artist later. But getting tattooed is something that helped me have a better relationship with me and to appreciate the skin that I'm in, even the non-tattooed parts, because I still have a lot of skin that's not tattooed yet. So I know firsthand that if tattoo can help me have a better relationship with myself, as much as tattoo is demonized, as much as it's like, this is not a thing, this is, like, you can't be buried here, God is going to smite you and send you to hell, whatever you've been taught in a lot of cultures. It's not just Black culture, it's not just Jewish culture, it's not just African culture, it's not just Japanese culture. In a lot of cultures, tattoo is already demonized because we forget it's only used for three things: identification, communication, and healing. I'm going to keep saying these three things. So when you start to actually use them for those things, that's when tattoo actually makes sense. Other than that, it's a very surface level pop culture thing that happens that is trendy, but those are the practices that should actually be demonized, not if you know why you're getting tattooed or you're led to get tattooed and you're opening yourself up to the experience, so that you can either communicate, identify yourself, or be healed. It's very simple. So, either way, I'm dysmorphic, I'm bipolar, I have eating disorder, I have a whole list of stuff. I'm OCD. But at the end of the day, um, I'm not all there, just like so many other people in the world. And because I'm not all there, I found my way to being healed through tattoo. So again, and I found my own inner peace. I'm able to help people on a very personal level, in terms of their own tattoo journey. So if I know firsthand that it's helped me, then I can use my life, my experience, and my waxes and wanes as a way to actually help you so that we can readjust this narrative that tattoo is something evil, it's demonic, it's, anything other than something that could be good and actually wholesome. Let's think about it. Never mind the fact that it's just art. So there's that. So look, all that we're going to go over three things before we hang out and create together. The three things are going to be your responsibility as a customer, my responsibility as an artist, and our two-way street. Again, remember I said that I'm making sure that you know how to get the empowering tattoo experience that you want, which means that these are the three things that you need to actually have an empowering tattoo experience. I hope that makes sense. Um, 2 seconds. So I hope that makes sense. And if so, then let's carry on. So if you stay till the end of this, I'm going to give you a code word, and since my book pre-sales, or my book dropped today, and you can pre-order it from now until April 14th. There are limited edition pre-orders available so that you can get a hard copy with a dust cover of my book, which is called Shop Gal. It is anecdotal memories of a Black female tattoo artist that made me. Um, and it is talking about my personal journey and experience. of how tattoo has helped save my life, like literally helped save my life. One of the best questions that I've ever been asked is, if I weren't tattooing, what would I see myself doing? And one of the hardest answers that I've had to give is that I don't think I'd be alive. And that's not to be all sappy or anything like that. That's real life. Like, you know, I didn't find tattoo. Tattoo found me, and tattoo saved my life. Tattoo is my captain saver, and I'm okay with that. And then the other thing is that I've always been asked the question of how did you get here? How did you become a tattoo artist? So this book answers that completely from beginning to end, from all of my 16 years, a few years before I became a tattoo artist, to a 16-year journey, all the way through to where I am now as a full kawaii creative entrepreneur and all that good stuff. So I'm very excited about that. So stay till the end. I'll be sure to give you a code word, and with that, you'll be able to have a one-on-one conversation with me, not just get the book. But if you buy the book, you'll be able to use this code word to get some of the freebies that actually go with it. Okay. So what makes this different? It's tattoo therapy, baby. Seriously, most tattoo artists, like myself, we don't take the time to make the true or to connect truly with our clients where we can feel out their innate needs. And sometimes being a tattoo artist in certain situations also means that you're a healer. It means that you're a confidant. It means that you are a therapist. All those good things. So sometimes it's very important, at least to me, to slow down sometimes and actually seek out those innate needs of clients, whether conscious or unconscious, conscience, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Whether it's a conscious or unconscious decision, there's a reason you're getting tattooed, and sometimes we as artists need to actually slow down. We need to, channel in on what your innate feelings are. Whether the tattoo experience should be more spiritual, healing, or overall therapeutic for the tattoo artist and the collector. That's what happens when you actually hone in on it. Even if it's just easing a little worry about anxiety about the process. To slow down and share your process, which is something that I'm learning right now, where, I have a lot of clients who trust me, but at the same time, I have new clients, and sometimes new clients are still wary about my process, and I have to slow down and tell them, not just, because I'm 16 years in, just being like, just sit down and get tattooed. If I can navigate it in a way that doesn't make me want to just say, sit down and get tattooed, then that's great. That's all that matters. And then I'm able to actually say, you know, this is what I do. This is where you're going to have to leave things to me. This is where I can help you. This is where our synergy is. All that good stuff. So I think it's pretty important. So even before tattoo therapy, I've always been an artist to want people to make better life decisions, because I judge people. And it's probably not just tattoo artists who judge people. I think people judge people as much as we want to say we don't judge. Like, literally, let's be honest here. And since I'm unapologetically judgmental, yes, unapologetically, because again, we're human. So I very much know that I judge people. I'd much rather use my powers and skill set to educate. So here we go. Who am I? I'm Imani K Brown. Remember, I said that if you just gave me a moment, I would go through and I'd make sure I'd introduce myself. I am a kawaii Black female tattoo artist, and your tattoo life coach or doula. I help people make better tattoo choices, and I help usher people through tattoo experiences as if I am a Sherpa. I really like saying the word Sherpa. So some pretty cool points about me is that I am an international tattoo artist and illustrator. I work in Japan twice a year. I do an itari kitari lifestyle, which means back and forth. So every 6 months, I take refuge in Japan for a couple weeks for my own self care while helping to serve other people who look like me over there. Um, I've been tattooing 16 years now. It'll be 17 in August. And I can be found on this documentary called Color Outside the Lines by Maya Bailey. It is a very exciting documentary and it's free on YouTube. So you can just check in and or you can go to the search bar and you can click in Color Outside the Lines. You can put tattoo documentary behind it if you want. And voila, you'll find that documentary. I am in there. Um, I'm the second black female tattoo artist, prominent tattoo artist in the U.S., and I am the first and only vetted for DC proper. That means I have a lot of responsibility to make sure that, I'm not just the first or second of anything, and that, just like everybody else, I carry my own weight to start breaking down doors and helping create our own lanes for black females like me. Um, I've been many places media wise, including Black Entrepreneur, Tattoo Do, and the Griot. But my favorite is on an indie platform called the Black Unicorn Project. And thankfully, I'm a Black unicorn. Um, but no, that's my favorite feature, and we talk about tattoo therapy Afro Kawaii style. And I think that's when I started to understand that a lot of what I do is because of my own personal journey. So a lot of helping to heal other people is literally because of my own personal journey. I'm a Kawaii lover, founder of DC's first and only Kawaii focused nonprofit organization or future nonprofit organization. We do Japanese street lifestyle or Japanese street fashion and kawaii lifestyle, baby. DC Kawaii style is the name of it. And I love branding with cute characters and helping start up small businesses and other people who want to just organize their thoughts to help them organize with less overwhelm and brand with impact to scale. That's a passion of mine to make sure that as I learn and as I give resources or I get resources to make sure I reach back and help someone else and pull them up with me. So it's always been a passion of mine. So that's me. If you want to know about any of my otaku life, I am an otaku, yes. I love Doctor Who. I love kawaii traveling. I love Japan, Osamu Tezuka. If you don't know who he is considered the godfather of manga. He is the daddy of Astro Boy. Um, Clearly, I love manga. I love tattooing. Love, love, love tattooing. Anime, Chibi Maruko-chan. She is one of my favorite characters. Pokemon, Doraemon, another character. Uh, Gaming, doodling, drawing, journaling, painting, and I love Afro Kawaii. That means that I love wrapping my blackness in something kawaii and something cute. So that kawaii means cute. So, for a little story about how I came into tattoo, again, make sure you check out Shop Gal. The link is going to be on the same page that you are viewing on. Before I became an artist, I was an enthusiast, and in my tattoo lifetime, I've done a lot of things wrong, which is why I'm here delivering this message to get tattooed. I kept a small notebook of tattoo ideas, mostly from Greek letters, and I was going to become a Zeta. I had asymmetrical designs. I talked more about my first tattoo in my book and all that good stuff. So I was well prepared with thought out ideas. Um, After falling into a tattoo shop and doing things the wrong way for a while actually, and doing this a few times, I discovered three very important things. Even though it seemed whimsical, I was actually using uh, so sorry. um, Something popped up. It seemed whimsical, but I was actually using tattoo as my choice form of therapy. One reason why I find it important to show up as a black woman is because black people don't like to go to therapy, but we will get tattooed. So I would like to be there to help usher people into having better tattoo experiences and empowering tattoo experiences. Um, so that those things don't become they become more of a norm for us. I wanted to create with somebody who'd be able to translate my feels, not my oohs, into something tangible, and I wanted a deeper, more meaningful connection with the person or people who I know who'd ink me from now on. But like I said, I've done a lot of things wrong. And I didn't know the importance of researching my artist. I didn't understand a tattoo is more than a tattoo. I had done a lot, a lot of randomness in terms of getting tattooed, but it's nothing to complain about. It is what it is. I discovered this. I discovered the hard way. So who cares? No. I discovered the hard way, and of course, the skin. So the discovery came harshly, a few tattoos too late. In fact, I didn't process everything that I actually needed from a tattoo experience until a few tattoos later, late, a few tattoos later. I came to the realization that I wanted to connect not only to my artist, but also to the art. I wanted to understand the process. And, remember that thing of, sometimes we have to slow down so people can understand the process. Um, he told me he wouldn't apprentice a black person, let alone a woman. And pause, just so you know, in the book, there is a chapter called He Said What? Because that's how I imagine everybody says it when they hear this story, and they're like, he said what? And I'm like, yeah, child, that's what he said. But that's what he said. That he wouldn't tattoo or he wouldn't teach a black person, let alone a woman. That's when I learned that I should probably take this journey a bit more serious. And also that I probably should have actually researched my artist, because had I researched, I probably would have known that a lot sooner than later. And I would have known the devil that I dance with. But we live and we learn. These are the three things that I was basically doing wrong. I was falling into a particular shop to get tattooed because I had itch, and I didn't take time to actually, examine the itch. There was no connection to my idea, and I go in and I choose Flash, or something like that. Uh, I often, I never really felt comfortable there, and I never felt comfortable with the artist. But it was a familiar place, or certain tattoo shops became familiar places, and artists like that particular artist became a familiar face. Um, I often went to the artist I was familiar with, so obviously I was going back and forth to him. He preferred walk-ins, customers who chose flash or had a direct picture. That was the standard, and I didn't think anything of it. So I used to go in with like printouts and be like, whoosh, I want this. He wouldn't even really make it custom, just kind of, you want that? Fine, we're going to do that. So there was no slowing down about anything. And here's the kicker: nothing about him as a human was relatable to me. Not his music, not his clothes, not his background. He didn't look like me, so not his race, nothing. I was trying to fit a circle into a square, and it wasn't working. Technically, you can fit a circle into a square as long as the circle is smaller than this. Whatever. It wasn't working. So like I said, there's a title in the memoir called He Says What. He said what? I'm tired, y'all. I tattooed for like 5 hours already before this. But there's a title in my memoir, He Said What, that gives full account to how I got here as a tattoo artist. So like I said, none of anything that he said in terms of me getting tattooed, in terms of the tattoo process or anything, was his fault. There's no reason to guess. There's no reason to be like, he said what? He said it, and it was my own fault. I'll own it, and it's okay. What I should have done was this thing called a consultation. And I say this thing because a lot of people don't think that there's a conversation that needs to be had to get tattooed and to find that tattoo, that empowering tattoo journey um, that you were hoping for. So, yeah, so there's that. Um, his response wasn't necessarily a jab. It was a challenge though. So since he said that he wouldn't apprentice a black person, let alone a woman, I was like, all right, cool. I didn't, I wasn't mad. I was just like, cool. And I just never went back to him for another tattoo. Also, he had asked me out on a date like the week before, so I think that's important to say simply because it was like, all right, cool. I see you. Um, so yeah, so again, it was my own fault. I probably should have actually researched. So this may sound like you, just like me. Um, Step one, this is the hard way, so this might actually sound familiar. Step one, fall into a walk-in shop. You come across some people. Excuse me, some people go into some of these places despite the appearance, and even God himself probably shouldn't go into some of these spaces. Step two, pick out a piece of flash. When you pick out the piece of flash, you're going to pick out something that meets your aesthetic. You're going to be like, ooh, I want that. Step three, hop in line, and you just, fall in line for the first tattoo artist. You don't bother to check out portfolios. You don't want to see who's available. You don't want to set an appointment. You just want to get tattooed because the itch, right? Um, Rose tattoo, skulls, cross, or dove, anyone? Um, what about a rosemary, some RIP letters, and a tombstone, or maybe your name, some paw prints? Any of those sound familiar? So, a lot of times with those things happening, it's literally one of those things like, hey, um, might be doing things a little, harder, making things a lot harder on yourself. The end result, when you do stuff like that, and when I've done stuff like that, I can say when you do stuff like that because I've done stuff like that, so I already know what it looks like. The end result is an okay tattoo. It's just that simple. An okay tattoo and an okay experience. But what you really wanted was someone who can make your feels tangible, your oohs, and make them tangible because you connected and it was like they knew you. Even with an unoriginal idea, because there's nothing new under the sun. So all of these ideas are already, have already been circulated, reinvented, all that good stuff. But when you're with the right artist, that artist can pull out something, even for an unoriginal idea, that makes that piece special to you, yours and yours alone. I call them bespoke tattoos, but that's for another live. An artist who knows your innateness and can push the envelope to make a typical tattoo. Um, make what am I trying to say? English words, Imani. Okay, Imani. A typical tattoo custom. So that means to make it for you, custom to you. Um, these results aren't typical. I'm going to go ahead and give my disclaimer here. Just going to go ahead and insert that. Every artist isn't equipped with the same skill set. We don't do the same thing from art to, to process to, to the first step of greeting you. None of us do the same thing. So you have to understand that every artist isn't equipped with the same skill set. So you'll have to beat your feet. Like you're literally going to have to do research. You can't just be like, oh, this person tattoos. I hear it all the time when people say, oh, I just wanted a name. But then I also hear more horror stories of, the worst tattoo experience from just getting a name type of deal. Um, and even if that's just for one piece, you'll have to commit to the process. So you're wanting to find an artist who you vibe with for the most part. So, like I said, don't worry, I'm guilty too. Don't even trip. But once you know better, you do better, right? And then you reach back, and you help somebody else. Pretty much like what my passion is. And you just bring them on with you. That's what the journey of tattoo is all about. So once you actually know better, you do better. And then you bring a friend along to say, hey, I noticed that you get tattooed, woo, woo. And you help them understand the message of why tattoo is more than a tattoo. There are like a gazillion things that go into a tattoo that aren't actually tattooed. And most of the time, people only assume and consider the act of getting tattooed, not what that artist does to prepare you or not even just prepare you, but to prepare that experience of getting tattooed. Sometimes it's very cut and dry. Sometimes it's glitz and glam, but either way, we actually spend a lot more time doing things that aren't tattoo related, or they aren't injecting the skin related, but tattoo related, to actually prepare for your tattoo and your tattoo experience. So here's me reaching back from the other side. I'm a tattoo artist, y'all. A pro tattoo artist wanting to see people make better life choices when choosing to get tattooed, especially people who look like me. Um, Beauty is that it's good quality tattoo advice that can be paid forward, so that you can go ahead and, since from this live you're going to know better and you're going to do better, and you can also what's the word I'm looking for? You can also reach back and give somebody else that information. Um, so yeah, so you can easily do that and pass things along. So here's the breakdown. Tattoo is a two-way street. Remember those three things I said earlier in the conversation that I was going to share with you, that I was going to share with you. Your That's right. Your responsibility as a customer, my responsibility as an artist. Yes, yes, yes. And our synergy. So tattoo is a two-way street, and that's a big secret to an empowering to an empowering tattoo experience. Literally, that there is synergy to be had. That is the empowering tattoo experience, having synergy. That's the responsibility of both myself, the artist, and you, the client. And don't worry, I'm going to leave plenty of room for Q so we can hang out after this. So that way you know exactly what's going on. Um, so here we go. Your responsibility as a customer seeking an empowering tattoo experience, because you can't expect your artist to know all of the things or anything like that. One day I'm going to have somebody who's going to hang out on live with me, who'll be able to who'll be actually able to communicate with people while I'm actually doing the live. But hold on, let me. And I'm back, just like that. I'm back. So here we go. We are looking at your responsibility as a customer. Your responsibility is simple. You understand three simple truths to tattoo. One, understand that tattoo is a rite of passage. It is not a fleeting moment. So you actually have to do the work to get tattooed, including research your artist. There are certain things you're going to have to take seriously. Never mind the fact that it's skin, you don't get it back, and there are no refunds. You can't use an eraser on it. Never mind any of that. Tattoo is not a fleeting moment. It is, in fact, a rite of passage. You should trust the process. In fact, you should marry it. So when you find that secret number two, I'm going to switch these around a little bit, because secret number three is to collect from an artist whose look and vibe and lifestyle aligns with yours. So I'm going to switch those two, because number two should be to start researching to collect from an artist whose look, vibe, and lifestyle aligns with yours. Again, that's important because I couldn't even appreciate my past artist as a whole human. So that kind of means that you maybe kind of sort of want to make sure that you can actually rock out with this person, at least on a very surface level. Just maybe. Um, but when you find that person that you can rock out with, then the third secret would be to actually trust the process and don't even question it. Marry the process. Ask all the questions that you need to ask. I'm not saying don't ask questions to your tattoo artist. What I'm saying is don't question the fact that they have a process. Don't try and rearrange the process. Whatever that artist's process is, it is their process and it is your responsibility as a customer to follow that process. Anything else should be communicated, should be, asked, and you guys will come to an agreement 9 times out of 10 at your own, at your own discretion. There is a quote by Troy Holloway attributed to the 25 tattoo seniors showing off tattoos from the past. It's a book. If people are honest with themselves when they choose a tattoo, the art will represent them better than anything that will ever come out of their mouth. Being honest with yourself means those three things. You are going to have to understand that tattoo is a rite of passage, not a fleeting moment. You're going to have to research and find that artist that you actually vibe with, and then you're going to have to actually trust their process. From the very beginning, though, you have to be honest and you have to be open to the process to be able to get, for that artist to be able to penetrate in a way of being able to understand you, understand what you have to offer, understand what this piece means to you, understand how to give you that experience, understand all the things that you're not going to say in the first damn place. Just a thought. Just a thought. So, now that we've talked about that, here's where I was supposed to insert a story. I don't have a story because I don't have a story. Actually, I have tons of stories, and I don't know. I couldn't figure out a story to tell you in terms of people finding me. But actually, I do. I lie. I have a customer who got a very ornate 3/4 sleeve tattoo. And we slowed down. We did a lot of research. Um, and he trusted everything. Like once he found me, he latched on and he was like, if this is your process, let's do it. His wife was very upset, very frustrated. There were times he came home, he didn't necessarily have as much of a tattoo done as you would have thought for like 4 to 5 hours or anything like that. I'm a fine line tattoo artist and I do a lot of fine detail and decorative work. So sometimes, 4 to 5 hours could be something like yay big. Doesn't seem big, but if there's a lot of work packed in yay big, then it is what it is. He understood this and he was okay with this. His wife did not. But after she saw the finished product from the very beginning, from the front, or from the beginning of the process, from the beginning of the process, all the way to the end of the process, she was really, 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 really happy with how things actually came about for him, and how things, just yeah. He was happy too. He was thrilled actually, and he did a testimonial. He did a testimonial in what's called Conversations with Customers. It's a docu-series that I worked on or that I created, and he shared how antsy he was at certain stages in his tattoo. How, certain things he's like, it's not done yet. Oh, we still have more research to do and all those good things. But at the same time, he also trusted me and he trusted the process. We took time, we spoke, we spent time actually vibing, so that I could get to know him and get to know what he expected of this piece and what he expected of the process. And it turned out to be a wonderful piece. Like, it's one of my favorites. He's still talking about, it's 3/4, so he still has a quarter of a sleeve left. So now he's thinking about going, bringing his tattoo down. Um, so yeah, so I'll tell you, I lied. I do have a story. But I have tons of stories where people literally just, from the first time that they meet me and understanding what they want from a tattoo process or anything like that, we've taken time, we vibed. If the synergy has been there, then, they just like, whatever your process is, just tell me the next steps. Which, by the way, a lot of times you can find my process and next steps right on my website. So, I'm just repeating what's already there. They've probably already read it and just need me to, to, what's the word I'm looking for? To verbalize and confirm things. So, there's that. So, look, we've talked about that, but now we got to talk about my responsibility as an artist. Again, more than a tattoo. So there are 5 different things that are very, very important for making sure that I'm giving more than a tattoo and I'm doing my part as an artist. I need to make a plan. I need to be transparent. I need to practice self-care. I need to make the tattoo process I need to make the entire experience from beginning to end valuable. And I need to also make room to go with the flow. So those things are very, very heavy to do sometimes, but it is what it is. So here's the thing. When a customer comes in to me for a tattoo, they're making a conscious decision to alter their body. And I have to be someone they can trust. I take that very seriously, by the way. So it's always a two-way street. I don't know how many times I've said that this time or, this particular live. But it is definitely a two-way street. And since I have to be somebody they can trust, then I need to make sure that I'm making a plan and I'm making this plan clear to them. So even the stuff that's in my head, I've at least communicated some type of roadmap of what I have in mind for their body. It's their body, or it's your body. You have to wear this permanently. My goal is to make sure that your tattoo uh, outlasts your actual lifespan, and that you enjoy it while you're here with it. So at the end of the day, I need to make sure that I make a plan. That plan is something that's going to hold true not just for me but for you too. So if you know which way I'm going, you know how to organize, all that good stuff. Same as doing any other type of business where communication is key. um, I have to be transparent. Not everything looks good on everybody. I have morals and values as a tattoo artist, and some things I won't do. So my customers look to me to make all the executive decisions for their body, which means that I have to be transparent and I have to be honest about what's going to look good on them for the rest of their life. That includes having to possibly alter a customer's idea or anything like that. And when that happens, it's fine. It's just one of those things that when it's altered, we say, hey, this is what's going on. And that plan that we had, we can say, hey, this is where the plan is changing a little bit. What do you feel about this? All those good things. But I can be transparent in that space because we've made a plan already. I'm going to show you what my plans look like. Hold on. That's what planning. That's what planning with me looks like. And this is a half sleeve that I'm working on, or a sleeve. I'm sorry, a whole sleeve that I'm working on, and we should be completed probably in the next 2 months. Um, but in making a plan, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at being able to make that plan, and as things actually build, as we build on skin, as we go through this experience together, as we take this walk together, we're holding hands. We're going through a field of tulips. No. Okay, so we're not going through a field of tulips, but we're holding hands. We're going through this process, and we're definitely taking this tattoo journey together because I mean, how would a non-tattoo artist take a tattoo journey without a tattoo artist? And if you choose me, then definitely we're going together, right? So we're taking this journey together. Then that means that once we make this plan, then as things change, then it is now my responsibility as a professional on this journey to say, hey, this is where things change, and actually open up a conversation, negotiations, all that good stuff. So there's that. And again, forever is a long time. So at the end of the day, I definitely want to make sure that customer is set for whatever their forever, that sounds so good. Whatever their forever actually looks like. But I want them to be proud of wearing this tattoo forever, like literally forever. Um, Third one, self care. Oh, yeah. So we already talked about, or at the beginning of this conversation, I shared with you how I actually come into the studio. That when I come in, I do this thing of me today, and I check in on myself and all of those good things. So with checking in on myself, I actually have to have self care. Um, excuse me. And in having self care, a lot of times is what I call leading with your heart and letting logic follow. So, because I have to fill out my customers. I have to know when to be honest with them about certain things. I have to know when to be gentle with them. I have to know when to be firm and just be like, look, suck it up, buttercup. You know, there are a lot of things that I have to be able to do. And I have to be malleable for as a tattoo artist. And I don't think I'm the only tattoo artist who has to be malleable in those ways. And not only that, but we use our hands, and in using our hands, wrist hurt. We get subjected to carpal tunnel. All these things that self care is something that's important for me, so that way I can be at my best for my clients. Again, you're the canvas. You're also human, and you have to wear this thing forever. Which means that if I'm not at peak performance, your tattoo might not be, you know, at peak anything. So it's very important for me to take that responsibility uh, uh, extremely, extremely serious, as kitschy as it may sound these days. Everybody's yelling about self care and all this good stuff. But this doesn't fall into that kitschy category. It is definitely a necessity in terms of tattooing. Not only that, but again, I've already told you that, you know, I don't be on my rocker all the time. like, so at the end of the day, self care also helps me maintain and balance so that I am a better service to my customers. Um, I gotta make tattoos valuable. I have to not just the tattoo, excuse me, the tattoo experience. I have to make that entire experience valuable. Again, CeeLo says what I believe within, I engrave it in my skin. And if that's the case, then I have to make sure that I can find what you believe within, even if you're not saying it with your mouth. And I can actually help impart some of those things that are a part of you that feel important to you um, into your tattoo. So at the end of the day, I definitely want to make sure that I'm adding value to your tattoo. And not just what you asked for, and not just make it flat in any way, shape, or form, but to actually make it you. Um, and as such, I have to leave room to go with the flow. So we know that this is just for you. Going with the flow means a lot. I was explaining to a friend the other day, we went out shooting, and I'm like, yeah, I just like to move, and I like to find my mood and all this good stuff. But that's most of the time because I have so many mood swings. I don't know what's happening. So with that, I was saying that sometimes we have to make a plan, and with that plan, we still have to make room to go with the flow. But what does that really mean? It means that that paper that you saw earlier is something that I can still make just for that customer, but we can go with the flow. We have a plan. I've communicated it, but we haven't committed to any hard details aside from the things that we've actually talked about. Simply because at the end of the day, some of those things are going to change. So I have to make this malleable so we can go with the flow. Again, I think I mentioned that I do bespoke tattoos. Bespoke tattoo simply means that it is well tailored to you. And that is one of the number one elements to a bespoke tattoo is literally just kind of going with the flow. Um, there's also a going with the flow of the body. That's a whole other conversation. But there's going with the flow of the body, which, that is also a responsibility of mine to make sure that aesthetically you look pleasing. Not with your clothes on. I get to picture you with your clothes off, and I get to say, hey, that's going to look weird. That doesn't go with your body flow. So it's also my responsibility. I guess that goes under being transparent. We can file that under there. But in that, to actually share with you how to make a piece go with the flow. Again, bespoke. So then putting something into terms where it goes with the flow also means that I'm making sure that this tattoo is well tailored just to you and your body flow. So that's what's required of me, and that's what's required of you. And now here's a big shebang: is literally how do we find our synergy? How do we find this synergy? How do we find this two-way street? Like, what happens for this? And it's something called the 3 C's. It's very simple. And honestly, a customer gave me this framework and made me put it into my actual working framework. It's creativity, communication, and consideration. She pinpointed these as the main 3 things that are important in my process for any customer. And I was very excited because I was like, that's spot on. And it's literally that if we can't meet one of those 3 things, we don't have synergy. We cannot create together. The end. It's that simple. Does it mean that we can't create together on another piece or at another time? No, it just means that we need to go back through and fine tune whatever one thing isn't lining up at that point to make sure that we're a good match for actually tattooing together. Tattooing together doesn't mean that you're going to tattoo as well. It means that you're going to go through the tattoo experience. You're allowing me to be your practitioner and commissioned artist. Not just here's my idea, you sit down, you get, and I just do what you say you want. If I'm not challenging your idea to be better, to push the envelope, then I'm not doing my job at this point. I'm not 16 years in. I'm not. I'm just tattooing and taking your money at that point. So how do we get those things? Well, first of all, let's go back to what these 3 things mean: creativity, communication, and consideration. Creativity, of course, I want to be able to challenge your idea, and I want you to be able to challenge my artistic prowess, so that we push the envelope together in what the tattoo looks like. Again, there's nothing new under the sun. So at the end of the day, since there's nothing new under the sun, there's no reason to expect that this should be just cut and dry. So if you say I want a sword, shield, and a skull, well, those are 3 very common things in tattoo. But how are we going to make it you? What does this mean to you? Let's start digging and let's figure out, what kind of elements do you like? What mood do you like? What art type do you like? Like, let's get creative. Let's figure out how to make this amazing for you, not some atypical shit that is just like, here's a skull, here's a sword, here's a shield. I kind of put them together. But how do we make this so that it is your sword, skull, and shield? You understand? Communication is literally you being able to say, this is what I want. Me being able to be transparent in what you want and what your expectations are, how I can actually meet them. All of that good stuff. If our plans change for any reason, for us to talk about the plans changing, all of those good things go into communication. So whatever we have to actually talk about while we're together, from the time that we actually sign on to being a pair, or actually from the time we have the consultation. Because if we can't communicate during the consultation, then we already are not a good match. But communication is definitely important. And consideration. Consideration means things like remembering that your tattoo artist is a human. Look at me. I am a whole person. not a machine, not a robot. So just like, you can get sick, just like you can have car trouble, just like you could be susceptible to, public transportation shutdowns, whatever. I'm I'm susceptible to the same things. I'm not a robot. I'm not a machine. Things don't just keep moving just because I get sick. You get sick, things like that. So to be able to have mutual consideration, there are going to be times that you're going to be late, maybe because traffic, or something like that. And you were able to email. There may be times when life gets in the way, and maybe I cannot tattoo at that time, and I have to reschedule you, or you cannot get tattooed at that time because your kid got sick or something like that. Again, and those things go back to communication. But when you're communicating, or when we're both communicating, we've agreed to the creativity. We're both communicating, on a match level, and then we can start to practice that consideration for each other, so that we build more of a relationship and a rapport with each other. This is how this person likes to work. This is how this person expects me to work. Let me see what we could do in the middle. So that way, by the time you actually get tattooed, all of that energy has been poured into just doing the tattoo. All that work has already been poured in to making sure and to guaranteeing that you have the best empowering tattoo experience available in life, at least for your life, is very, very important. Being able to make sure that those three C's are met so that I show up as an artist, um, so that I'm inspired to create for you, so that I know that, I don't have to wonder about anything while I'm over here over communicating, because over communicating can be a thing for me. That, all of those good things, and that we're both considerate of each other, that, something happened, we communicate about it. Nobody's going to be left holding the bag type of deal. Those three things are very, very important to making sure that you are actually working together to build a relationship. And this doesn't just work for tattoo, it works in general. So if you have requirements for being around people, I know I do. These would be, some of my main requirements for being around people. At least the last two. Creativity, definitely, because if you just like a boring normie, then I really don't want to be around you in the first place. So definitely creativity, in that respect as well. Um, these are the things that you can only get with a consultation, though. And I stress consultation because, again, people forget and they feel like, you feel like you just fall into a shop, you pick a piece of flesh, you hop in line, and you've never actually seen if the artist is capable, if the artist is your jam, if the artist does the style that you're actually, that you're actually expecting. And a lot of us artists are very well rounded. So while you see, something that we do on a regular basis, a lot of times there are times that, like, you won't see traditional in my tattoo portfolio, but I have a particular prowess for traditional tattoos. And when requested, of certain clients, and they want me to do their tattoo, as long as I know that it's something I can confidently pull off in traditional, hell yeah, let's do this. But we wouldn't know if that's an option for either one of us without actually talking about it. A consultation is nothing but a talk. It is a meeting of the minds, a brainstorm, mastermind, whatever you want to call it. It is you coming together with your potential tattoo artist to actually talk about your ideas, what your expectations are, all that good stuff. We're human. So we're not mind readers. We don't know what you want. You can't just send a picture and we're supposed to know exactly what to do with it for you. A lot of times tattoos don't work that way. Um, a lot of times, regardless of what tattoo artist you go to, you have to have a consultation. Again, I do large bespoke tattoos, so I'm doing body parts. We're piecing things together. We're making plans that look as silly as that tracing paper that I showed you earlier. But both of us know how to read it. We know exactly what's coming next. If you ask me what's coming next, then I can tell you what's coming next. And I'm just reiterating what we've already discussed and what we've already agreed to in the first place. But again, it's a conversation, a consultation. That way, we both have all of our cards out on the table. You're not wondering and assuming, well, I read this, so I'm guessing it's going to be like this. You can just ask. See how that works. So, me, I don't have to, pull teeth to figure out what it is that you want in your design. We're together having a conversation. One of the main questions is, so what kind of tattoo do you want? And you can actually say, okay, so this is what I'm thinking, and you can like word vomit and all that good stuff. And that artist, me, can actually go through and tell you how to get stuff done. Like how to actually, what are your options to getting that particular tattoo, for going through that particular journey and experience. That only happens with a conversation. So a lot of times people are like, well, what does a consultation look like? One, I offer consultations via Skype if you are 150 miles or more outside of the DC area, or I'm on travel, because that's the thing. I do a Moshi Moshi tattoo tour, and again, I told you I work in Japan twice a year. I still try and show up for my clients as much as I can, whether I'm here or there or anywhere. You like that Dr. Seuss, don't you? Yes. So with that, a lot of times I do offer Skype for those inconveniences, and if you are 150 miles outside of the DC metropolitan area, um, and then I offer in-person consultation. So whichever way you book, you're letting me know, hey, I need to come in, or hey, I need you to Skype, or anything like that, and we get to have the conversation. When we have that conversation, it's somewhere around 30 minutes, depending on how good it is. If it's like, we going to church type consultation, and they can last a little bit longer, as long as I don't have anybody right after. But consultations are about 30 minutes. And with the consultation, then you're able to let me know what it is that you want. We go through everything that I actually ask on the sign up. Do you want color versus black and gray? Or do you want, my favorite thing, which is the best of both worlds, which is mostly black and gray color pops? Do you what type of placement are you looking for? Are you looking for creative placement? How big do you want it? Let's start there. Those things. I ask for references, like any other artist, or most other artists. Not any other artists. Most other artists will ask for a reference, so I do ask for those things. And there are times that people want to, or I'll have to ask to be connected to the piece. Tell me what it means for you. Like, put me in your shoes, those things, so that way I can kind of feel out what you expect from this piece, and what I can actually put into it and give. And then how can I push that envelope of what I can give, so that you're not just satisfied with that piece, you are overtly satisfied with that piece. Those things are very, very important to me, as a tattoo artist. So that's pretty much what I got going, in terms of being a tattoo artist, how tattoo has helped me, how it is a healing process, and how to actually get the tattoo experience that you want, the empowering tattoo experience that you want, with little to no overwhelm, not having to compromise your idea, and not breaking the bank, simply because you have a conversation, which comes in the form of what? A consultation. So you have a consultation. It comes in the form, you have, which is pretty much like a 30 minute to an hour conversation about what it is that you want, what your expectations are. The artist gets to slow down and feel out. That artist, being me, gets to go through and fill out what it is that what it is that you actually expect, and all of those good things. Either which way, it is very important to know that with tattoo, you can heal yourself. You can make inner peace. by making sure that what you have tattooed outwardly reflects you inwardly. Um, and it doesn't cause any discord, because what you don't want to do is not be a skull and bones type of person, type of chick, i.e., me, and have skull and bones tattooed on you and they aren't even relatable to you in any way. As such, I'm not really a skull and bones chick. Told you guys I use my life as an example. But I have skulls and bones. I have sugar skulls because I feel like in a lot of cultures, Hispanic cultures and or Latin cultures, Afro cultures, things, there are a lot of cultures that look at the life part of death. Um, and I think the best representation of that I come across so far have been Sugar Skulls, because it celebrates the life part of death. And I hadn't seen any representation of that in tattoos. So when, I was like, hey, I'm a tattoo artist and I'm dead, instead of getting just a basic skull or anything like that, I said I wanted a sugar skull because, most badass tattoo artists have a skull. So I definitely wanted to be badass, but I wanted to be my style of badass, and I wanted to honor what, the things that I look at in certain ways. I don't, I told you, we already know this, off my rocker, I'm a self-harmer. So I have a very different view of death, um, in that I think there is life in death. I have a romanticized view of death and all that good stuff. I won't even get into that. But at the end of the day, as it relates to that, in terms of death, I'd much rather not have death on my body, because I don't see it as something sad. I see that, death celebrates a person's life and that person gets to live on, um, unapologetically. That's me. That's my relationship with death. So, in terms of tattooing something that most of us relate to death, a skull, then I want to make sure that it is something that I wanted to make sure it was something that represented my particular view of death. And I didn't have the tools to actually translate and do something that was uh, more bespoke, more, I guess, original, to my own person at that time. This was 16 plus years ago. Um, just starting to get into tattooing, as a tattoo artist. So just starting to learn the ways of actually challenging ideas and digging deeper, and deep diving for a tattoo that literally screams for that one person, regardless of, how unoriginal the idea is. So at that time, I was able to do that, or I wasn't able to do that. I didn't have the skills, or the I didn't have the tools or the skill set. Um, but I knew what a sugar skull represented. So I got a sugar skull. So I got my skull and bones. Hey, but that skull and bones is closer to me. It's closer to what I represent. If you want to know, I do have a bespoke tattoo, that's tailored right to me. Like literally, she's tailored right to me. This is a Maya Bailey piece. It is, I had a chance to get tattooed by him. Maya Bailey is one of my mentors and brothers. And when getting tattooed by him, or, when I set my tattoo up and all that good stuff, I said, at that time I was customizing sneakers. And I was making my name, customizing sneakers for tattoo. And Maya was the one who actually gave me the advice to make sure that I am hustling something that I love and sharing in something that I love, to let people know that I'm on this journey to becoming a tattoo artist. And that was the best advice that I'd ever been given, or some of the best advice. There was definitely more, and not all by Maya, but also by my tattoo artist, or my tattoo master, my senpai, customers. But it is some of the best early advice that I've been given. So I asked Maya to tattoo this piece on the inside of my arm. And I gave him the elements that I wanted. I wanted a chick, and I wanted her to have one of these. And the reason being is because I tend to, uh, want to customize Adidas more than anything else. Those are my shoes of choice. It is one of my favorite sneaker. It is my favorite sneaker brand. And I love the story of Adidas and Puma. So I asked him for that. Everything else was up to him. At that time, Maya was actually into pinups, and he would create pinups that were based on his customer. So I ended up with me on me because that's where Maya was as an artist. I love it. I appreciate it. It was a great experience. We had such a wonderful time tattooing this babe on me. But it was hand drawn, so it's completely bespoke tattoo, not even custom. It's a bespoke tattoo. And as I go through and I get comfortable here, I do more lives or anything like that. I'll definitely explain more about what a bespoke tattoo is, why it's different from custom tattoos, all that good stuff. But it was drawn on me, so it's two form. It is literally two form of my body to the point that if I gain weight, I can make her like booty shake and stuff like that. She a stripper. So yeah. Uh, I'm going to open the floor for questions. We can hang out until like 7:30, 7:45ish. And if you have ideas for your tattoo, before that though, I'm going to take a quick bio break. So I can go to the bathroom. I've been holding it this whole time. I'll be back. Okay, and I am back. So look, so now that that's all done, let's create together. So, what I promised for this talk was that you we can design tattoos together. I'm like you, but we could design tattoos together. So, since that's something that we can do, let's do it. So, here's the deal for designing tattoos together, because obviously we can't what's the word I'm looking for? We can't what's the word I'm looking for? We can't draw together, and I can't exhibit, any of that. But what we can do is an exercise that I do with my customers, especially on Skype and such. So we'll make this like a Skype consultation. We'll mimic one of those, and you'll give me your placement, your general idea, anything like that, and I'll let you know. Let me know if you have any questions about it, and I can tell you, my professional expert opinion from there. Does that make sense? So let me know what your ideas are. If you have any questions about your ideas, and we can deep dive from there in terms of how to design your tattoo for dark skin. Thigh to ankle, both color and black and gray. What's the idea that you want to do from thigh to ankle? So it sounds like you want to do a leg sleeve. Um, yeah, it sounds like you want to do a leg sleeve. So let me know what it is that you want to do with this thigh to ankle thigh. I'm touching my thigh to make sure. Yeah, that's a leg sleeve. So let me know, leg sleeve. What are you doing? That's color, both color and black and gray. You're missing the most important part is what your actual idea is. You have placement and you have color concept. Mm, awesome, cool. Uh, with the five important ladies in your life. Okay, so here is where it may seem a little bit tricky. Um, because it's very vague. So you're doing thigh to ankle, five important ladies in your life. Are you doing like portraits? Do you want portraits of these ladies? Do you want to do elements of these ladies? Have you considered what it is that you're doing for these ladies in your life? Um, nice. The five muses from Hercules. That's dope as crap. Um, got it. Got it. So I'm not very familiar with the muses of Hercules, so 9 times out of 10, what I personally do is to arrange them in a way that it tells a story of why these five ladies are important, not necessarily tiering them. So it wouldn't be, even if they're translated into the five muses, but to if they're translated into the five muses, which lady for which muse, and then I'd also find elements for each muse so that way that ends up being a background. So that those muses can play together, but it doesn't look like we just stuck like five muses like just on your person, but made them make sense. Also, because it's from the thigh to the ankle, that means that in terms of a leg sleeve, if it goes all the way around, then it goes also into a very personal part of your body. Excuse me, of your body. So to make sure that in terms of it going, in the buttocks area and in between the thigh area, that that's not anything that's suggestive for, for honoring important people in your life, if that makes sense. So I would make sure that, that the placement is still kind to what the idea is, even if it went all the way around your leg. If it doesn't go all the way around your leg and it's just, kind of on the outside or just kind of moves with your leg or anything like that, depending on what you're thinking for placement, then, that may make it a little bit easier. But if not, definitely in being able to make sure that that placement, that the subject matter and the placement don't clash, so that it doesn't read as some type of other message, or it overshadows the message of the particular spirit of that piece. I think that's the best way to describe it. So you also said both color and black and gray. So I'm assuming Best of Both Worlds is something that you're interested in. Awesome. Yeah, Best of Both World Color Pops would definitely be fun for that. Um, I don't know why I see thunder for some reason. I'm not sure. Or feel the idea of thunder. And it's probably because you said the Muses of Hercules. Um, but yeah, to have like negative spaces, like that's something that you can make really, really dramatic and make feel really good in so many different ways. Um, I can feel that without even particularly knowing the full piece. But yeah, hmm. I wouldn't necessarily, depending on how you did the Five Muses of Hercules. So if it were like a full anime style, then yeah, I could see that particularly. But also, you want to make sure because these are your main pieces that even with Disney throwing up on your sleeve, that they don't get lost. That's going to be very important. If they get lost in that piece, then it becomes muddy, and it becomes hard to actually share who is what and what the feel of that piece is. If Disney throws up on your leg, then what's the relationship to Disney, the Muses of Hercules, or the Five Important Ladies? That would be my main question in terms of consultation if that were an option for you. So if that background were an option in terms of a Disney background and Disney threw up on your leg type of deal, I just really like saying that. Sorry, but and something like that, then how do those relate? So it'll make it make sense. Other than that, it makes it really hard to make the connection between Disney as a background, your foreground being the Five Muses of Hercules, which represent these five important ladies, and how it actually ties together. So I would definitely say consider those things. It's a few of us in here, so if anybody else got any questions as well, please feel free to drop them. We're talking at this point. It's me and y'all. It's me and y'all. No. Different piece. Welcome to Japan, mainly Osaka, but that will be after I go there. Oh man, you have a piece planned for Japan for once you go there. The same way I think I had a piece planned for sorority life before I actually pledged the sorority. Have you ever been to Japan? Oh, not at all, not at all. Okay. So I had to ask because you could have been in Japan and never been to Osaka, or never been to Japan. So I didn't want to insult either which way. So thank you for the answer. But one, you definitely enjoy, and um, I'm interested to see what you would get for Welcome to Osaka. Um, Osaka's like my love town. I love Osaka. That's home. So at the end of the day, definitely I have a few Welcome to Osaka ideas, but that's only because I'm like I'm really in love with Osaka. What do you mean? Oh, the idea for Osaka with lots of food. Osaka has some really good food too. So like I'm no foodie. I have eating disorder. So a lot of times I don't even end up using Osaka or eating Osaka soul food. Eating a lot of different foods, but definitely I'm always crying for some type of Osaka soul food, takoyaki, except takoyaki. But I'm always crying for Osaka soul food. So to have something explosive like that and to have lots of food on it, in terms of that idea, I think like you're already on the start. You just have to go to Japan, experience it, and find out what you're in love with there. So yeah. Oh, also guys, make sure you smash up the likes. Ha! I've always wanted to say that. If this live has been helpful, if you enjoy it, if you want more lives, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you share this. Make sure that you subscribe, all that good stuff, so that more people can find out about me. I'm not usually on YouTube, like I said. I'm usually on Instagram Live, and even that sometimes can be a little quiet, just a little bit. But definitely hit up the likes. Make sure you share and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notifications button, all that good jazz, so that way we can stay connected. Also, before I leave, until any more questions fly through the air here, um, excuse me, before I leave, uh, what was I trying to say? Oh, no. Oh, before I leave, I wanted to make sure you knew that you can now buy my book. It is live for pre-order at $35. It is suggested $55, and there's a lot of extra value to it, including a free consultation. Anybody who's actually been to this live, the keyword is going to be kawaii tattoo, and with the word kawaii tattoo, yeah, with the word kawaii tattoo, that will let me know that you were in this live, and you will also get an extra $200 off of your tattoo should you be getting tattooed by me. Um, the pre-sale comes with a lot of things, a whole lot of things. No, it comes with a free consultation. It comes with 2 vinyl stickers. It comes with a 3-inch shop gal tattoo, temporary tattoo. It comes with a temporary tattoo sticker sheet. It comes with the shop gal poster and a discount coupon to my store, Little Ink Play Shop online, where you can actually buy the Shop Gal book. But also, for people at this live, there will also be an extra $200 off of your tattoo. So I would love to connect with you so that we can create together. Remember to write it down, Kawaii Tattoo. So you have to buy the book first, and if you buy the once you buy the book, then once you get everything on April 15th, then excuse me, if you let me know those words, then I can give you an extra $200 off, because I would like to say thank you. It looks like that might have been it for everything. So, if so, thank you for hanging out. I had a lot of fun. I hope this wasn't too bad for this. Yeah, I hope this wasn't too bad for my first YouTube live. Um, yeah, so I hope this wasn't my too bad for my first YouTube live. I hope things that I share were helpful. I always say in everything that I share that I want to make it fun. I want to make sure that it's engaging, but more than anything, I want to make sure that it's helpful. I hope these lives help you connect with me as a tattoo artist who loves to actually help make a difference in people's lives through tattoo. My name is Imani K Brown. I am an international black female tattoo artist, kawaii black female tattoo artist and illustrator, and my message is more than a tattoo. I like to encourage people through tattoo to have better positive, or not better, but to have positive body image as well as self empowerment. I think that these are two of the most important things that tattoo can do for you in terms of being a form of healing, communication, and identification. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next Tuesday, because I usually do tattoo talks on Tuesday. Every Tuesday. So I hope to see you next Tuesday, and I hope we have fun. So thanks for joining me, and see you next week.